Hello and welcome to The Extras. I'm Tim Millard, your host. And joining me is George Feltenstein to announce the November Blu-ray releases from the Warner Archive. Hi, George.
Hello, Tim. Pleasure to be with you as always.
Well, the next title that we're going to talk about was a real pleasant surprise because you've been releasing these animated series, of course, over the last few months. And you have another animated series that I don't know was on anybody's radar, really. Tell us a little bit about this one.
Well, this has always been on my radar, even going back to the DVD days, because this is a 2-season animated sitcom, for lack of better description, that was absolutely geared towards adults. This was not children's fare. It's Wait Till Your Father Gets Home. And it was really the way Hanna-Barbera kind of would pick up on trends. They were picking up on the kind of sensibility of early 70s television, specifically All in the Family, I think, was probably the biggest influence on this series. And it was very topical. And it was specifically created for something that had just happened in the television industry. And that is the government the FCC made the networks give up the first half hour of primetime programming for local stations. The idea behind this was to encourage local stations to create local programming. Instead, what happened was it was a new market for first-run syndication. So instead of it being community-minded, stations went out and looked for product, and there were specifically series made for that market. There still are. I mean, the Nighttime Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune are remnants of that, and those happened in the 80s. But in the 70s, that's when you started seeing like Nighttime Price is Right and so forth and so on.
Yeah.
There were also specific series, but in terms of animation, I think there may have been one or two others in the 70s that were animated for that slot. But this was Hanna-Barbera's first, and it has a very different feel than Hanna-Barbera animation of the era. It's very funny. It was written by people who were writing adult sitcom fare. It's a little edgy for the era, but the reason this was on my radar so much was that only season 1 got a DVD release, not season 2. And we couldn't release a season 2 when Warner Archive was primarily focusing on DVD, finishing series that had been started but not finished on DVD, which is what we were doing a lot of 12 years ago, 13 years ago. There were music clearance issues for this series. And happily, not only have the music clearance issues been cleared up, but we've also gone back to the original camera negatives, scanned at 4K, and have these beautiful new 1080p HD masters, which create the 6 discs, the 48 episodes of this half-hour series. I think people really, really are going to enjoy it.
The response so far, George, to this announcement has been real pleasant surprise. And I think a lot of people are looking forward to this release.
Yeah, I was delighted when we made the announcement this morning and seeing all the comments on Facebook. They're very, very, very positive. Over the years, we have gotten a lot of requests, just even thinking DVD-like, of like, when are we going to see season 2? I think season 1 was released on DVD in like 2007. So to be able to bring it out with a quantum leap of quality, with the caveat that this was very low budget animation. It was limited animation, and it isn't, equivalent to feature film quality animation or even like the Scooby-Doo things we've been releasing. This is very, very bare, but it's all about the comedy and the topicality of the writing. And we're looking back 50 years, because the last episode was in the can over 50 years ago. So this is a little bit of a forgotten piece of television history that is a timepiece. It's very much representative of the early 70s, and I think people are going to really enjoy it looking and sounding terrific and having it on their shelf.
And before we move on, there are a few extras that looks like are going to be included in here, a couple of featurettes.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's terrific.
There are 2 short featurettes that were originally created for that season 1 DVD, but they help frame a little perspective on what the show meant and what it still means today, which is a great thing.
Just a reminder to subscribe to the YouTube channel so that you get all of our announcement videos and other videos in the future. Thanks for listening.